But we begin tonight with the continuing fail of this year's political common wisdom.
So many Democrats who don't even say they're Democrats in their ads, number one, and who certainly don't say that they voted for health care or stimulus.
Common wisdom about this year's elections is that Democrats can only compete this year. They are only competing this year by running away from the Democratic record. Common wisdom is that Democrats can only get elected this year if voters can be bamboozled into thinking that they might maybe be Republicans, or at least that they're Republican light.
Earl joined Republicans to fight internet predators protecting kids.
Earl Pomeroy, right? From North Dakota, the only member of Congress from North Dakota. Common wisdom this year is that all Democrats have to do what Earl Pomeroy is doing. They have to run essentially as fake Republicans. Or if they are going to cite Democratic accomplishments in a campaign, it's only because they're going to run against those accomplishments. That is this year's Beltway common wisdom, and it is pretty much bullpucky. Wisconsin Democratic Senator Russ Feingold is running for re-election this year. He is banking on the fact that common wisdom is bullpucky. Senator Feingold has a difficult race this year, facing an uphill battle against a very, 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 very conservative, rich opponent. But he's not playing to the common wisdom, and for good reason. Senator Feingold spoke before the president did at a barn burner of a rally earlier this week in Madison, Wisconsin. The president's speech did not include a pause for applause, where his speech got to the part about health reform, but lo and behold, when the president did mention health reform, the 26,000 plus people in the audience roared with cheers and applause.
We passed health care reform that will stop insurance companies from denying you coverage or dropping you coverage because you're sick.
That cheering spontaneously for health reform. So common wisdom be damned, Senator Russ Feingold is campaigning on health reform as an accomplishment that Democrats are proud of, and an accomplishment that Republicans want to screw up.
Russ fought to stop insurance companies from denying Wisconsin children health care due to pre-existing conditions.
Mr. Johnson would put insurance companies back in control,
letting them raise premiums and increase their costs whenever they want.
Ron Johnson, hands off my health care.
The other side of the anti-Democrat common wisdom this year is that not only can't Democrats run on the Democratic record, but they also always have to be on defense. You got it? You have to be on defense. Just wait for and then try vaguely to fend off Republican attacks. Republicans get to play offense, and whatever you do, for the love of God, make as little noise and take up as little space as possible, and maybe people won't notice you're there, and that's how you'll get reelected or elected. It's the Republicans' turf this year, and you, Democrats, you're going to play on Republican territory and just shut up about it. Please, sir, may I have another? That is the common wisdom this year. It is also bullpucky, and I can show you why and how. Not only can Democrats play offense this year, but we have examples. We have really good examples of what it looks like when they do so. We're about to play for you now something you have never seen before. We obtained this today from the St. Petersburg Times and Miami Herald. It has never before been shown on TV. It is from an event in Tallahassee, Florida in January, at which Republican Senate candidate Marco Rubio is asked how he would fix Social Security. Watch.
I do think that the retirement age issue is going to have to be confronted at some point as part of a measure to reform Social Security. The other is giving people the option of taking some of their Social Security money, at least a portion thereof, and investing it in an alternative to the Social Security system itself.
Right, but if you've had people that have, just made terrible mistakes and lost everything in their 401k, wouldn't they do the same thing?
Potentially, but it's their money.
It's their money. Cat food's not that expensive. Cardboard's cheap. That was Republican Senate candidate Marco Rubio speaking to reporters in Tallahassee in January about privatizing Social Security. That exclusive video, again, courtesy of the St. Petersburg Times and Miami Herald. I want to thank them for getting that to us today. Technically, it was quite a challenge, and we're really glad they did. Now, the Democrat in that race, Kendrick Meek, has used that statement, used Marco Rubio's position in favor of privatizing Social Security in a campaign ad against Marco Rubio.
I'm Kendrick Meek, the Democrat for Senate, and with three of us running, you should know what makes me different. The only one against privatizing Social Security.
Yeah! Yay! Marco Rubio has what amounts to a politically indefensible position on Social Security in a state that has demographics like Florida does. Indefensible position. So the Democrat running against him hits him on that politically indefensible position. The result is that the Republican runs from his own position.
No, I do not believe it should be privatized, and I do not believe it's outlived its usefulness. On the contrary, I think Social Security is an extremely important program, and it should be preserved and saved.
That tape of me saying otherwise is going to be really hard to find, isn't it? What? Privatized Social Security? Did I ever say that? Not that I think anybody can find. Me? No, never. That's crazy talk.
The other is giving people the option of taking some of their Social Security money, at least a portion thereof, and investing it in an alternative to the Social Security system itself.
Like the stock market. And if they lose it, dummies. Marco Rubio, you have no idea what to say you believe about this now, do you? You are lying about your old position, or you're at least flip-flopping on it. You're denying your own beliefs. Man, you're a mess on this. In Florida, you're a mess on Social Security? That sounds like trouble. Not only can Democrats fight on offense, it works when they do. Every year, even this year. Want another example? VA privatization. Privatizing the VA? Yes, as crazy as it sounds, this is an actual position taken by a number of Republicans this year, including Senate candidate Sharon Angle in Nevada. In a radio interview, Ms. Angle said this when she was talking about her father, who is a veteran.
I know he pays over $800 a month in prescription drugs that we can't get through his VA nor through Medicare. They just won't cover those things. And I know lots of seniors.
Should they cover those things?
No, not if you're working toward a privatized system.
What is this privatized system of which you speak? A privatized VA, an idea that veterans groups immediately went through the roof about, and an easy target that Ms. Angle's Democratic opponent, Harry Reid, took a shot at.
Now, in another extreme proposal, Sharon Angle says privatize it, end the VA as we know it. When she was asked whether veterans' benefits like prescriptions and doctor visits would be covered if she had her way.
No, not if you're working toward a privatized system.
End our promise to veterans? Sharon Angle, dangerous ideas that put veterans at risk.
I'm Harry Reid, and I approve this message.
Democrat on offense against a Republican's totally politically indefensible, unpopular position. Result? Republican runs from that position, falling all over herself along the way. Sharon Angle, I yield the floor.
I said that they could do a better job. That's all I said. The VA could do a better job for our veterans.
That's all I said. I hope that the VA could do better by privatizing itself. That's all. Did I say privatize? I meant personalize. I just meant everybody should get monogrammed VA stuff. Oh, God, what did I say? Also forced to play defense was Ken Buck, the Republican running for Senate in Colorado, after supporting legislation that declares a fertilized egg has the same rights as you and I have. His Democratic opponent, Michael Bennet, came out swinging with this searing attack ad.
As a doctor, I try to protect the health of women. That's what I do. That's why I'm very disturbed by Ken Buck. Ken Buck would ban common forms of birth control. And Ken Buck wants to make abortion illegal, even in cases of rape and incest. But that should be a woman's decision, not a politician's. As far as I'm concerned, Ken Buck is just too extreme for Colorado.
Since originally supporting the birth control pills are murder legislation, Ken Buck has changed his position, sort of. Quoting the Denver Post this week, during the primary, Ken Buck, said he supported the measure. Last weekend, his campaign said he would vote against it because he doesn't believe in banning birth control. Then on Monday, he said at a Jewish voters forum that he's not taking a position on the amendment at all. So it's Ken Buck flip-flopping, falling over backwards, running from his record, not sure what his new record should be. This is what it looks like when Democrats are on offense. This is what it looks like when Democrats commit politics. This is what happens when Democrats try to win. Sometimes it works. This year's anti-Democrat common wisdom is bullpucky. When we come back, the strategy behind one of the hardest hitting ads of the election so far.
Every 4 minutes in America, a woman is sexually assaulted. Almost half are teenage or younger. But for a victim of rape or incest, Sharon Angle would force her to have the baby. Angle says,
2 wrongs don't make a right.
For girls raped by a relative, Engel says they should just make
a lemon situation into lemonade.
If that's not extreme, what is? Sharon Engel, too dangerous to have real power over real people. Patriot Majority PAC is responsible for the content of this advertising.
More on that when we come back.